This is Keith Clark from mydigitalmedium.com, and we're going to go ahead and do a recap of the last 5 or 6 days. Actually, I haven't been able to make videos as frequently. We're going to jump right into it. I seem to say that every video. Let's go ahead, and it's been a very exciting times for what we've been doing. It is now 22 days, 23 days in, and we've had consistent voice, improved pictures through spectrograph images, and all types of cool stuff. And that has to be directly corresponded or relating to the energy that's contributed by all of you. Got a lot of clips. Let me start with the most interesting one for those of you that don't like to hear me babble on. Okay, on Friday we started to hear a new voice somewhere around 4 or 5 p.m. I listened to it as I was coming home from work later on that night. It appeared to be the influence of electrical signals on the radio. So, non-physical personalities, or people in spirit, however you refer to them, were using electricity, as they always do, here anyway, to affect the radio. And this particular clip, I'll play it for you, then I'll tell you what it says. At the end of this clip, you will see that the person says, "But that will change in a minute." They were testing on the stream. First we had Thursday or Friday, actually the same day, we had them doing some crazy stuff on the radio, which has been documented and is also on YouTube. You'll see it, you'll find it under the word spirit testing. Let's go ahead and listen to it again. Right about here, you'll hear it say, "But that will improve in a minute." But that will improve. Let's go ahead and jump into the other most exciting thing that occurred. Let's see. Here's more of that same clip, real quick. That full clip is on the internet, and sometimes you could actually hear what appeared to be two people speaking, one answering another. They really enjoyed testing, and last Friday we were full of a lot of testing. We're going to jump immediately to something else. I'm going to bounce around due to time constraints. We have a live spectrograph, which is listening to the radio. Sound comes through the radio, it comes out to a spectrograph. Oftentimes, those of you that have listened have heard bursts of white noise that sound like ch, ch, ch. And they've been trying to speak in that as we've demonstrated. But yesterday it was determined that began to occur regularly. And I saw that they were trying to make faces in those bursts of white noise, or I'll call them electromagnetic bursts, energy bursts, what have you. It's all the same. And we began to look at it, and I determined that they were trying to send pictures. And I said, what if it's too loud? The contrast needs to be lowered. So what ended up happening was we split the audio in the stream, meaning it comes out of the radio, goes into the computer, and then I branch it off. One side goes for the audio that we listen to, one side goes for the pictures. We can't normally do that due to limited resources. I only have one computer, and I can't run 5 or 6 streams off one computer doing everything that we do. But yesterday we switched to it, and we are presently operating in that mode today. The reason why I'm telling you this is because they began to send bursts of white noise with pictures, and we adjusted to it. Here's an example of that occurring. It's not as clear as I would like it to be, but you will see that there are bursts of white noise. And at the end of this clip, you will see one of the pictures that was taken as a result. That's me taking a picture. And there you can see one of our lovely faces in sound. To give you an update on developments, how did that happen? Where did it occur? It was determined last night that when we turn on the ceiling fans here in the house, here in this particular room that's on the same electrical circuit as my computer, not the stream computer, then we see that effect. Oop. Let's go back. Let's pause on that while I describe. Got a limited amount of time. 5 minutes. Okay. That's why I don't use media player. Okay, so there's the picture up here in this section. The cool thing about experiments and paying attention to things, paying attention to patterns, paying attention to environment variables, is that once you begin to notice a pattern, you begin to narrow it down and see what's happening. Now, for years, I will refer to them in this video as people in spirit have been influencing the radio by using electricity or electromagnetic energy. Here's the interesting thing. In this house, my computer that I'm sitting at right this second is using the proprietary TP-Link adapters that send LAN or network signal through regular wall outlets. So it was determined last week that whenever I did establish a remote connection from this computer to that computer on a different electrical circuit, it was affecting the radio, which is even crazier because it's me connecting from this computer to that one, initiating the display driver, and then that was either emanating back out through the radio, which is another 30 feet away, or it was being picked up internally by the second computer. It's too complex for me to describe. I'll just let you know that there are reasons that things change, and everything in the house causes the electrical signals to change, and our friends are constantly adjusting to that. Last night, once it was determined that the fans were the cause of these bursts of white noise that they were using quite successfully, might I add, to send pictures, we now are going to try to implement some type of scheduler system whereby we can switch from voice to pictures, from pictures back to voice, etc., until we have enough equipment to do both. Let's go ahead and move on to some more audio samples. All right. Not wasting any time, we're just going to fly through these. In this particular clip, it's either move a little bit closer or we're a little closer right here in this first part. The word energy is quite a popular word here on the stream because everything we do has to do with energy. pretty cool, huh? So that's a different type of, I would say, modulation. They changed the signal somehow to where it was modulated at a faster rate for a short period of time. Instrument is another word that's used quite frequently here on the stream. It's used to refer to anything that's technical, that's assisting us in our project, either on our side or their side. We don't know. It's 3 syllables and then the instrument. It's not uncommon for, as soon as I post something to YouTube or as soon as I post something to Facebook, we will hear a change on the radio. Now, a lot of you may have seen or figured out by now that I will intentionally stop the YouTube streams or Facebook streams and intentionally post videos to YouTube, as well as do things that will attract people's attention at certain periods of time. What I mean by that is I know that we can build energy methodically by implementing a certain pattern of things. That pattern would be me making this video now, heading to work. Video ends up being uploaded. It gets posted to Facebook, gets posted to YouTube. People see it, and then that builds up the energy throughout the day. And by 4, 5, 6 o'clock or whatever, there's a change. There's a direct change. And that's when also when more people come and visit the stream. This is one of those changes. That's it for the clips. Let's flash through some pictures real quick. Now, remember, spectrograph pictures are not easy. They're extremely difficult. We've been working on them for 10 years. So if you haven't heard of spectrograph images in 10 years, now you know why. Let's go through yesterday. Images. I'm going to flash through them quick. So up here on the right, the ones that aren't that well defined, I'm not going to take the time to point out. Over here, here's another one. So the definition has quite a bit to be desired. We know that. This is when I started to notice that they were trying to send faces in the white noise bursts, which we later determined to be the fan. Notice you can't see much there, but these are not particularly presented as evidence. Like I said, I've been working on it for 10 years. If it was ready for the public, in the sense of here are people from spirit, then I will present it as such. But for now, we're just working on improving it. Okay, so I started to notice faces. And after this, shortly after this, we began to adjust. I'm not using anything high-tech here. Didn't pull out Adobe and do a thing to erase the noise, etc. I did the best I could and with small resources. There's not much point in expending too much energy at this point in time to make something that much clearer. I mean, I don't think. Determination and persistence will do that. Let's see. Notice we're starting to get into a pattern here. As we began to continue with that method, we began to notice that things were getting really good, or really interesting, better pictures than we had seen. This is an example of me increasing the amount of time for that spectrograph. So if they were able to get a picture through, it would be clear. Of course, the pictures are smaller, shorter. So they have to extend their face out through that energy over a longer period of time. Is that much clearer? Not really. Let's see. This one looks pretty good. A lot of smiling faces. This is a nice one up in the upper right hand corner. At least I think it's great. I'm on a 22-minute timer because my camera turns off. Actually, I could just remove the camera. But lucky for you, that's why I don't get to talk for long periods of time anymore. These all happened yesterday. We're going to try the system today of switching the fans on at around 4 or 5 p.m., somewhere around there. And we're going to see if the same thing will occur. And I can pretty much guarantee that unless something major changes, it most likely will. All that means is we know what's causing the electrical burst, and we're going to purposely induce that, and they're going to purposely send their pictures to us. It's teamwork. And eventually we're going to get some really good pictures. It's inevitable. But for now, it's a little rough. We're going to leave with this one for the end of the day. This is our last clip. I'll take more time to explain the technical details in another video since some people have asked. All right, now I'm going to go and I'm going to move immediately to a shameless plug. As part of the iDigital Medium team, we help support a family in Gambia. We don't just support them, we're sending them to school so they can support themselves. Some of you know it as the Teach to Fish method. That's what we're doing here. We're in our second year of 3, meaning, and this year we didn't raise all the money. 2 of them are in college, 6 children total, 2 are in college. This is the last year for one of them, which means they'll be able to begin looking for work this summer. we have not raised the money for the entire year, so we had to get really creative there to pull out just enough money for them to start school. So we only have enough to make it till Christmas. After that, we're still in need. We're still in great need. So if you see this, you would like to help, please consider doing so. You may see an initiative from me where anybody that donates X amount will then be given in exchange, say for example, an hour of my time, of anything that I know that is within the range of my knowledge. I'll be happy to give to you in return for your assistance with this project. I'm not afraid to work for it. With the limited amount of time that I have, though, I'll do the best that I can. But they're in school, and the objective is to get them working. I don't know if you know this, but school in Gambia is not free. Or it's free, you just have to buy all the stuff that goes along with it. And for many people over there, they don't have that ability. So we are assisting this family. I know them personally, have known them for years, and the objective is to get them to become self-sufficient so that they won't need to ask for money. Sometimes the whole donation thing doesn't actually solve the issue, so we're going to do our best to see this project through so that we can provide a solution, at least for one family in the world. We appreciate your help. This is Keith from My Digital Medium. Have a good day. See you later.